has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
Make sure you get the SportsGrid app on iOS or Android in the Play Store. It's free. You're going to love it. You can follow your favorite hosts like Carver High, get in-game odds, everything. You can watch the network, listen to the network, all on the app. And I said it's free. It's the SportsGrid app. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Did you know SportsGrid streaming on X? That's right. Just go to SportsGrid-Live, and you can see us streaming on X 7 days a week, 365. It's awesome. Get the Ferrall Coast to Coast and Ferrall on the Bench separate podcasts on iTunes or wherever you download your podcast. You'll find it. The C2C one is all 3 hours of this show. Ferrall on the Bench is a daily jaunt through sports of everything that happened last night and everything that's going to happen that night ahead or that week ahead, everything that's going on everywhere. You'll like both of them, Ferrall Coast to Coast and Ferrall on the Bench. Don't forget, next Monday night at 7:30, Notre Dame and Ohio State play for the national championship. We'll be all over it on Monday on Coast to Coast. All right, what's Andy Reid saying, getting ready for the Texans at Arrowhead on Saturday?
Yes, obviously it's been a long time since the Chiefs regulars have played in a game. Christmas Day, that's a little bit more than the standard, we got to bye in the first round and getting a week off. You're talking, I believe I told you yesterday, 23 days, right around there is how long it'll be when they play again. Andy Reid says, not that big of a deal. We'll be all right.
Yeah, sure. They've got a good attitude, players. They were in last week and did a nice job with that. And even on the days off, a lot of them came in. So, but want to make sure we gave them a little time for recovery. But they're excited to go. They know they're playing a good football team. So they're excited.
Yeah, they're excited. Just like you. Very excited. So it's got to be so ho-hum for them, right? I think what's been kind of lost in all this, and it's maybe just they haven't played an important game in weeks, they're trying to do something that's never been done. Winning 3 in a row hasn't been done. So they're trying to do something pretty historic on NFL Super Bowl terms, and there just really is, very ho-hum around it, isn't it? I guess we got to wait till they play somebody big where there's actually some chance they can get pushed. I guess that's when it'll be discussed a little bit more.
They're not even sweating this game. Let's face facts. Of all the games that you got to have big stones to bet on, we're taking this 8.5, and we're hoping for the under at Arrowhead. The reality is, of all the games, this is the one game, in my opinion, that the visitor could get their ass beat. I've heard all I can take about. I'm buying into the Texans' pass rush and their quarterback a little bit, but I got to tell you, I'm very leery about taking 8.5 with the Texans. I think the Chiefs could kill them. I really do. I already did it, so it's too late for crying now. I did it because I hate them, and that's not a smart way to bet. I thought about it, and then I did it, and I was like, I'm doing this because I hate them, not because I have any faith in the Texans. I actually thought the Texans were real average this year, and then they had a really great game against the Chargers. So everyone's dipping their, fork into the salad. You know what I mean? all of a sudden they're a team you want to believe in. They're not that good. And now all of a sudden everybody's betting on them. Yeah, they're playing the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I'm not going to be surprised at all if the Chiefs win by 16 to 20 points.
Especially since, as you know, and I know you always love when I give you these numbers, Taylor Swift will be there. 16-3 the Chiefs are when she's at the game, and 11-7-1 against the spread. There you go. We have to give you some entertainment value today with her wearing that 87 coat. So I figured I'd give it to you there with all of that. So there you go. The Taylor effect.
I don't deny she's a gazillionaire and just an incredible performer. And I, as you know, I'm just not into it. I don't care about. I'll be honest. I don't care about who the halftime singer is at the Super Bowl any more than I care about her. I don't care about rappers, and I don't care about rock and rollers. I don't care about top 40 artists and singers and dancers and people shaking their bodies and being naked. I like betting on football. I like watching football. All that other stuff to me is bullshit. I don't care about her. I don't give a rat's ass who she is or where she is or she's in the building. And, you know, what really bothers me is when they show her 400 times during the game. What a pain in the ass that is. Like, I'm trying to watch a football game here. I'm not trying to watch Entertainment Tonight. Honestly.
Well, they turn it into that when she's there, unfortunately. Speaking
that
of...
sucks. Like, I'm sick of it. Like, I'm a
I agree.
football fan. I'm not interested in all that bullshit.
I am not either. On the Kelsey side of things, he is second in most receiving touchdowns in NFL playoff history. Good chance in this playoff he could pass Jerry Rice. He's 3 behind him with 19 to Rice's 22. 20-1 if you think he'll break it on Saturday. Get 4 of them.
Oh, yeah, you think that's going to happen? That's not
for him
happening.
to get 4 of them.
I'll take that bet with anyone. Who wants to make that bet? He's catching 4 touchdown passes Saturday.
No, I don't think it's going to happen either. But they giving you a number on it. I don't think the number is high enough as well from that aspect. We mentioned Mahomes in the divisional round at the start of the show. Here are the full numbers: 6-0 straight up, 4-2 against the spread in the divisional round. 1,600 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, no turnovers in this round from Patrick Mahomes.
My guess is, the game's at what, 3 o'clock or something? 4:30, right? Is it 4:30 and 8? So 4:30. 4:30. You're going to wait all day, then that game's going to come on, and in less than 30 minutes, it's going to be a blowout. And then you're going to wait till 8 o'clock.
Hope not.
Saturday's going to be the longest yard. You're going to wait all day for the Commanders and Lions because the Chiefs game's going to suck so bad.
I hope it's not like that. We had so many bad games.
You can smell it from
last weekend. Like, we had so many bad games last weekend. Can we please have a good slate?
Sucked.
Well, can we have, 3 out of the 4 be great this weekend then? I guess this will be the one that's not. Like, we have at least 3 great games.
This will be the one that's not.
Come on. We can't, all these games can't suck. It's going to start it's becoming the NBA playoffs. Every game sucks. We can't have that. It's supposed to be the NFL, King, the best games. Please help us out. The total, 41.5, lowest playoff total in the Mahomes era. And everyone's on the under. Not me. I actually like the over in this game. Over 41.5. It's too low.
I agree with you. I think it's too low. I think the Chiefs will score 41.
That's also a possibility. I'm still getting 8.5 in a few spots. I know some places went to the flat 8, but 8.5 and 41.5 under for me. And I'm still going to wait till tomorrow to decide what I'm doing with that 8.5. I know I'm going over, but I'll decide. I'm still waiting on.
I already did it.
To see what
I already did it.
You're in.
You're in. I did it. I already did it.
No
over
turning back.
And 8.5. There's nothing I can do now. But I'm sitting here acknowledging full on that it could get ugly. Like, this is Suckerville is what it is to me, that you're getting sucked into Suckerville with the Houston Texans winning at Arrowhead. I don't care it was 24-0 a couple of years ago. What does that have to do with today?
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High, what's Dan Campbell saying about the Commanders on Saturday night at Ford Field?
Yeah, of course, we've been talking a lot about how everybody's on the Lions. Everybody. They're the favorites. They're the 1 seed. They've got all the expectations. Dan Campbell doesn't want to really hear any of that. He's just trying to get through this week.
Man, we're the 1 seed, so if if you guys don't succeed, then, I never think like that. I don't know. To me, I look at it as like, I know who we are. I know what we're about. I know how we have to prepare. I respect the opponent. And now it's time to go to work. That's how I look at it. I don't look at anything else. I don't think of what if it doesn't, what if the what ifs, like, man, I couldn't sleep at night if I lived that way. There's no freaking way. So, no, I don't think of that. We're the 1 seed. We earned the 1 seed. We got a good opponent coming in. And we're going to be ready to play. That's how I look at it.
That's it. And, they're the best team in the NFC. They're better than the Eagles. They're better than everybody. And they're playing a great young quarterback. And can that kid, for bettors, cover 9.5? And some people think the Lions are going to blow out the Commanders. I don't think so. Not with that kid playing. You can talk all you want about his rookie, this, that, whatever you want to say. Did you see what he did at Raymond James last week? I mean, Sunday night, this guy is absolutely, he's no more a rookie than I am. I mean, that guy is a complete baller. That's it. Mega talent.
He is. Mega talent indeed. Now, we know that there's a chance these big numbers can cover this weekend, but there's one thing that they don't do, Scotty, in the divisional round, really in the NFL playoffs. How about this? Big divisional favorites, the Chiefs and the Lions. The last 18 favorites of 7 or more points are 18-0 straight up. They've won 18 in a row. The last 18 favorites of 7 or more points in the NFL playoffs. So the big dogs usually have been taking care of business. Of course, the Chiefs and the Lions would fall into that category on Saturday for this week. It is still 8.5, and
but that's just winning the game. That's straight up.
Just winning the game. So the favorites of 7.5 or more, 7 or more, 18 in a row, straight up. They have not been upset outright in those games. They have not all covered, but they've all won the game. So that's, if you're thinking of any big upsets in either of those games, like a lot of people are chirping, Texans, things like that. I wouldn't be thinking that way for that game, those two games this week.
So if you're betting it and that's what you're into, then you're going to bet Kansas City at almost 5 bills to win. You're gonna bet 5 bills to win the game. If you're gonna bet on Detroit to win the game, you're gonna bet same thing. They're both minus 476. It's almost 5 bills just for them to win. So who's stupid enough to make that bet? Anyway, like, not people around here to bet 50, 100 a game, right? That's what people bet. Like, maybe there's some people around here that bet 1,000 a game. Fair enough. But let's just stop with all these liars that are talking about, I bet 10,000 a game, 20,000 a game. I know 1 or 2 people that do that. Everyone else is a small time bettor. And the only way to bet this game is to bet it with the spread. And we are in the business here of betting spreads. We're not in the business here of just picking winners. Who's going to win the game? Christ, if I did that all day, I'd be living in a 20-bedroom mansion and a compound like Waldo. I mean, honestly, like, it's not that hard to tell you who's going to win a game. He just said they're 18-0, the favorites in these divisional rounds. They never lose, the 1 seeds. So there you go. Kansas City and Detroit's going to win. Are they going to cover? That's what we're doing here. That's why we're sitting here. Do you have the stones to bet on the Texans and to bet on the Commanders? I bet on both of them.
The 10 most likely Super Bowl matchups. I got this for you today as well. The favorite, Chiefs-Lions at plus 370. Chiefs-Eagles plus 500. Ravens-Lions plus 500. Bills-Lions plus 550. The most likely Super Bowl matchups. You could place the wager on this if you'd like before this weekend.
Yeah, I'm just not going to do that. That's fantastic that they've already figured out who's playing in the game. And I'm sitting here, it's not even championship week, and we've already predicted who's in the Super Bowl. Okay, whatever. Thanks so much for coming. Here, did you get your free ice cream? Honestly, I just want to see the games. I want to see the games. I'm not crowning anyone 4 weeks before the game.
The NFL and the law enforcement in New Orleans are ramping things up for Super Bowl security, Scotty. Of course, after the New Year's Eve attack down there on Bourbon Street, the NFL and the police down there are making sure that everything is going to be run a tight ship at the Superdome for the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks when you're down there.
Yeah, I think the 2 safest places on earth will be the inauguration on Monday and the Super Bowl on February 9th. I think that you could literally what's there to be worried about at the Super Bowl besides nothing? I mean, there's going to be federal agents everywhere. There's going to be the Army. They're going to be there. The National Guard's going to be there. Every cop in the state of Louisiana is going to be there. Literally everyone. And then undercover is going to be everywhere. Like, it is not the place to F around with anything. With you're some kind of terrorist, you're dead. You'll be dead in less than 10 seconds. You think you're a copycat, you'll be dead too. You think you're off buying drugs, you're going to jail. I mean, they're going to be everywhere, crawling out of trees, crawling out of the woodwork. I would think it'd be the safest place on earth, New Orleans, the week of the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. I mean, you're going to see more cops than people.
You are going to see more cops than people. And you did send me this Burrow note. More playoff wins than the entire 2020 draft class. Hurts, Love, Herbert, and Tua. I know that obviously Hurts has a chance to get himself a couple more here during this playoff run. But Joey Silk, not here this year in the playoffs, but been better than all of those guys.
Orange Sherbert looked terrible. Hurts is overrated. So is Love. And Tua definitely is. And his brain's mush.
The defending champion Kansas City Chiefs aim for an unprecedented third straight Super Bowl. But the Texans are ready to end the dynasty. Then the Commanders, fresh off their first playoff win since 2006, take on the high-powered offense of the Detroit Lions. Start your game day with pro football today at 10 a.m. for pregame betting. Then stay in the action with in-game live game day. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This Sunday, the Rams carry the weight of their city when they face the Eagles. Then it's a clash of MVP caliber quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. SportsGrid has you covered all day, starting at 8 a.m. with FST for daily fantasy lineups. Lock in your picks with Pro Football Today. And stay dialed in with real-time betting on in-game live game day. Only on SportsGrid.
Well, Mike, I've always kind of believed about this Deion story that, we were talking to Morency about it before off air, and he thinks he made a bet that he would get the job. I'm not surprised in the least in that, because I said to you live on the air that once you've talked to him and you've made it be known that you're talking to Deion Sanders and that you've had discussions about the Cowboy job with Deion Sanders, how do you introduce someone else? How do you possibly try to sell the Cowboys fandom, their fan base, millions, and 100,000 that actually go to the games and millions that love them across this country, that you're going to hire someone else? How do you actually go to someone else after that? I think that, in my view, it's pretty clear at some level they're going to cut a deal with Deion Sanders. I think they're going to hire him, and I think Kellen Moore would be a drastic mistake. Like, they've already had him there. Now they're going to bring him back as head coach over Deion Sanders. He'll be doomed from day one.
I mean, they banished Kellen Moore out of the place 2 years ago when he was the offensive coordinator, and now you're going to bring him back? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, this is from Ed Werder, who, as you know, has been around the Cowboys in Dallas his entire life. Right. And he said today that he's being told that Deion would almost certainly accept if Jerry Jones made him an offer, and that those around Deion are encouraging him to pursue it, and that Jones is enamored with the idea. You know, look, Ed's been around a long time. Ed knows the Cowboys. He knows what's going on around the Cowboys. I think that there's a lot of smoke here, and there's a lot of potential. And I know Deion's done the whole thing. I love Boulder. I love college football. I love blah, 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 blah.
Who doesn't?
This is the Dallas Cowboys that are coming calling. This isn't like, the Browns coming calling. This is the Dallas Cowboys knocking on Deion's door. Maybe Gabe was right to make that play. I think this is got some juice to maybe happen here.
He could coach the Cowboys for 5 years, fail, get fired, and be back in college football before the end of the night. The same day he gets fired, he'd be hired.
And not that he needs money, but he would be a hell of a lot richer too after that. He's already loaded. So there you go, Dion and the Cowboys.
His kids are going to be loaded.
Yes, they certainly are. Some other interview items that are going on. Texans offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick interviewing with the Jets today. Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken interviewing with the Jags today and the Bears tomorrow. Got a game on Sunday as well. The Cowboys are also going to interview Robert Saleh. Well, maybe that's all that you need if you're Dion. Have him talk to Saleh for a couple of hours, and then he'll realize I got to call Dion back after talking to Rob.
He's not getting that job. So let's look at Monken for a second. Here's another guy that I'd be very leery of hiring. You're going to say that the reason why the Ravens are so good is Todd Monken, or is it because they have Lamar Jackson, who makes Todd Monken look like a genius? Be very careful with the Monken hiring. In fact, his brother's a better football coach than him. Without a doubt.
Lamar Jackson and let's also not forget Derrick Henry. That makes your offense look. That makes your offense look pretty darn good.
But he's been there 1 year. He's been there 1 year. This guy Lamar Jackson is the reason that Monken is getting interviews.
Right. I think Monken's only been there a couple of years, but still, it's like you said. These offensive coordinators that get these opportunities, they get put in these positions most of the time because of the great quarterbacks that they have been surrounded with that put them in those chances. And guess what? Those great quarterbacks aren't coming with them when they take that new job. Just like Josh Allen didn't come with Brian Dable. Lamar Jackson's not going to go with Todd Monken. Those things happen when you try to hire the hotshot coordinator. Like, I still don't think this guy Johnson, who's everyone's All-American, and he's going to be the greatest coach ever. Like, let's slow down. I'm not a believer until I see it with these offensive coordinators who go and get jobs. And the Raiders are interviewing.
Everyone that goes to the Raiders loses. Every one of them.
That is
I mean, how many coaches have they gone through now? 15, 20?
They just unbelievable. Recycled bottled water. As you say. They just keep on just going through coaches. They're interviewing Vance Joseph, too. I mean, honestly, do these guys not see?
I've already seen him fail.
Why are we going, again, retread, recycled bottle
That's the
water?
Rooney Roll. They got to slip in those Rooney Roll Black interviews.
The defending champion Kansas City Chiefs aim for an unprecedented third straight Super Bowl. But the Texans are ready to end the dynasty. Then the Commanders, fresh off their first playoff win since 2006, take on the high-powered offense of the Detroit Lions. Start your game day with pro football today at 10 a.m. for pregame betting. Then stay in the action with in-game live game day. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This Sunday, the Rams carry the weight of their city when they face the Eagles. Then it's a clash of MVP caliber quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. SportsGrid has you covered all day. starting at 8 a.m. with FST for daily fantasy lineups. Lock in your picks with Pro Football Today and stay dialed in with real-time betting on in-game live game day, only on SportsGrid.
Great to have you with us on a Thursday C2C as we kick off the second half here and we shift to the NBA, Carver High.
Yes, we do shift to the NBA here as we have a lot of things to discuss from last night. And then we have, of course, tonight, OKC and the Cavs getting together again, the two best records in the NBA. Why don't we start here? The Knicks were in Philadelphia last night. Knicks got out to a pretty big lead, Sky. They had a nice double-digit lead at halftime, but the Sixers, more specifically Tyrese Maxey, came roaring back in the second half. Maxey ties it late. Then they go to the overtime. Brunson had a huge night, also a triple-double for Josh Hart as he put the finishing touches on it on ESPN.
Busele has it taken from behind by Josh Hart. Guess who? Hart running, lobbing, exclamation point. Good night.
Look out.
I mean, this guy Brunson, 16 in the fourth in overtime. I thought Anunoby, Achua, everybody, Bridges, they all played well without Cat, and they got it done. And Philly had come all the way back in the third and tied it, and they thought they were going to win it, but they didn't, and the Knicks covered. It was a great bet.
What did you think of Cat wearing the Eagles shirt there on the side? I mean, I know people get all busted up about this stuff, but you know, you're playing for New York, and he did change the shirt eventually. I guess he started to get too much static from.
I don't think it would. I think it would matter if they were playing them. Like if the Eagles were playing the Giants or something in the playoffs or something like that. I think it would matter. I don't think it matters at all that he likes the Eagles. And, you know, whatever. These guys all drip out. I mean, what I was surprised he wore two different outfits, right? He wore that one, then he switched back. I don't think anyone told him what to do or anything else. Brunson likes the Eagles. Brunson's a Philly dude. Like, they all love it. Like, the whole team, all of them are Nova guys. So they all like Philly, too. They just, I mean, we've seen the silliness. St. John's wouldn't show Brunson the other night at the Garden. I mean, you got to be kidding me. This stuff's ridiculous. Who cares? I don't care what he wears.
The big upset of the night in the NBA was in Toronto last night, where the Raptors, who were 13.5, 14-point dogs, win outright over the Celtics, 110-97. Celtics have lost 3 of their last 5 games, haven't been playing great basketball. Let's check in with Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more of having a sense of, like, it's just not always going to go your way or the way you want it to. So I think you just have to enjoy the challenge of going through it. I mean, I think that's, you know, that's a great test of what the NBA season presents. So we just got to find the joy in that. And, you know, the most important thing is sticking together, getting through it with toughness, and figuring out the details, the effort, the execution. But just, you know, can't have an expectation it's always going to go your way. We just got to figure it out. We got to work through it.
Like,
yeah, I hope they don't. I hope they don't work through it.
But for those guys, like the defending champs, like these regular season games must just be so boring to them. Like all that matters is the playoffs, and they know that they can roll the ball out. I know it didn't happen for them last night, but you know they're going to roll the ball out on enough nights this year where they're going to be the top 2 or 3 seeds in the East, and that's all that matters is what you winning those games. This is like. It's like wiffle ball to them. I mean, who cares? It just doesn't make a difference. It's got to be boring if you're on the Celtics team right now going through.
Nice effort. It's just as boring watching them.
It is.
I mean, honestly,
they're playing.
I watch the NBA. It's like pulling teeth.
They're playing these games like they're exhibitions. You know, that's the hard thing about it. The Hawks had nobody playing, but they still beat the Bulls 110-94. The Bulls suck. You said it yesterday. You should have fired Donovan if they lose this game to the Hawks tonight. Well, they certainly did. Bulls 18-23 on the year. Some of these guys who had huge nights
lost
for the
by
Hawks,
16. I mean, my God, how does this guy keep his job? How bad they are.
Daquan Plowden with 5 threes and 19 points off the bench for the Hawks. Who? Your boy Daquan.
How about their leading
involved.
scorer? Their leading scorer no one's ever heard of. He had a career night, too. No one's ever heard of him.
That's a tough scene. Bucks beat the Magic 122-93. Giannis had 33, 11, and 13. 50th career triple-double for Giannis. He's the 12th player in NBA history to reach 50 triple-doubles in his career. He's been playing very well recently, as the Bucks have been pretty good.
Well, I've always been impressed with a guy that can score like that and rebound like that they can pass like that. Because most people that score a lot don't pass the ball. Like, I play with a lot of ball hogs. They don't pass the ball. Like, I'm Mr. Invisible when I play in the morning with these people. I love them, but they don't see anything except themselves scoring. That's what they see. So for a big to be that good and that he drops dimes to his teammates, like Jokic and Giannis drop dimes, that's what impresses me. It's not hard to score double figures when you're 7 foot tall.
It's not. Pelicans beat the Mavs 119-116. Big night for DeJounte Murray in that game. The Grizzlies beat the Spurs 129-115. I know they keep showing that dunk that didn't count. Did you see the jaw dunk over Wemby? But the whistle had blown, so it's not going to count. But still, that was a hell of a dunk by Ja.
Listen, honestly, it was really impressive. And there's no denying it was awesome to see him hop up that tree and crank one in his face. But the fact that ESPN has shown it 7 million times in 12 hours is embarrassing. Like, it didn't even count. And you're still showing it. They just won't stop showing it. The game doesn't matter. It's a regular season game. Doesn't matter. The play didn't count. The basket didn't count. The dunk didn't count. But you keep showing it. I mean, what's next? You going to show guys taking a dump in the locker room?
The most shown non-basket in NBA history, the jaw dunk over Wembanyama.
I mean, honestly, Mike, at some point I'm right. Like, what are you doing here? It's worth seeing once or twice. But like 7,000 times they showed it on NBA Today. I literally had it on here. They showed it 7,000 times in 1 hour.
Wild. Rockets beat the Nuggets by 20. Nice win for them. Hornets had some problems with the Jazz, and then they pulled away late. And the Jazz did cover, though, 117-112. Warriors beat the Timberwolves last night, 116-115. Steph Curry getting involved in the final minute on ESPN.
Inside a minute to go, Curry got Reed off his feet. What a pass underneath. Extra dish by Payton. Now to the corner. Here's Curry. It's good! Steph Curry with a huge three. The Warriors take the lead back with 47 seconds left.
He had 7 threes in the game and was going off per usual.
And the Lakers beat the Heat 117-108. It was LeBron down the stretch, closing things out for the Lake Show on Spectrum Sportsnet.
LeBron straightaway three. Got it! Tonight. Now looks pretty good for them. LeBron. Drifting left, shooting right, leading scorer in the history of the game. LeBron James.
I love my guys.
With 5, with 4, LeBron. Oh! There's the patented shot.
Like, I love the guy. Now, there was a little excitement there from him with the, LeBron James. But usually the legend at the crypt and back at the forum and everything, it used to always be LeBron James. Like, is there anything more painful than the guy in Boston or the guy in Detroit that thinks we all tune in to listen to him screaming, Pritchard for 3! And he does it for 4 hours, and I want to pull a 9 Glock out. Like, there's nothing better than a guy that's just like, LeBron James.
The Clippers beat the Nets by 59 They opened the
Cover.
second half on a 32-3 run. That kind of put the Nets away.
Ryan Leonard played in a basketball game.
The defending champion Kansas City Chiefs aim for an unprecedented third straight Super Bowl. But the Texans are ready to end the dynasty. Then the Commanders, fresh off their first playoff win since 2006, take on the high-powered offense of the Detroit Lions. Start your game day with pro football today at 10 a.m. for pregame betting. Then stay in the action with in-game live game day. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This Sunday, the Rams carry the weight of their city when they face the Eagles. Then it's a clash of MVP caliber quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. SportsGrid has you covered all day, starting at 8 a.m. with FST for daily fantasy lineups. Lock in your picks with Pro Football Today. And stay dialed in with real-time betting on in-game live game day, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I definitely think it's great for the NBA that the teams like the Pacers and the Pistons are good. I really do, because if all we ever talk about is the Lakers and the Celtics, then I think it takes a huge dent out of the league. So I like the way that the Pacers have been playing. I like the way that the Pistons have been playing, and they hook up tonight with Little Sleezers in Detroit Rock City. Looks like a pretty good game to me tonight on paper, at the very least, in the Motor City, Carver High.
It does. In fact, they have both gotten themselves to over 500 now, a couple games over 500. They're both 6th and 7th in the East coming into tonight. So both playing some pretty good ball. Game is in Detroit, as you just mentioned. So the Pistons, 1.5-point favorites in this game. 228.5 is the total tonight. Halliburton is the game time. We know that he's been banged up. A few other guys in and out of the lineup for Indiana, but Pistons by 1.5.
I'm going to take Detroit at home. They've been cooled off lately, so have the Pacers, but I'm talking they had won, 5, 6 in a row. So I'll take Detroit at home tonight, laying that 1.5. Hopefully they win by a bucket.
Next up, the Suns, who are on this long East Coast trip, and it's been very spotty for them, are in D.C. against the Wizards tonight. Suns minus 11.5. 231.5 the total. Now, Beal's out. No big return to D.C. for him tonight against his former team. And did you see any of this Devin Booker stuff, Scotty? That the Suns might be looking to move Booker, and there's a couple man, talk about busting it up. Remember when they got KD? It was, here we go. Booker, yeah. KD, Suns are going to win it all. Beal wants out. They might trade Booker.
They're the Brooklyn Nets.
KD's going to be frosty again, man. All those guys start dropping out.
Irving, Harden, Durant, we've already seen that with the Nets, and they screwed that up. They screwed this up, but they should win this game tonight. I don't care who they say they're trading. The Wizards suck. Phoenix has to win this game tonight by a dozen or more. Come on. You got to be kidding.
They should win this game by a dozen or more tonight. You're right about that. The big game tonight is Oklahoma City and Cleveland getting back together. Of course, they played last week. A little tail of the tape for you here on this. You sent me this. Lead changes in that game. There were 30 lead changes when they played last week. They were tied 8 times. Single digits was the biggest lead that both teams had. Points in the paint. There was over 100 points in the paint between the two. So both teams playing well. And I wanted to give you the SGA numbers over his last 12 games. I mean, it's kind of silly. 32, 27, 39, 31, 33, 33, 29, 40. You getting the point? 45, 41. Your boy has been on fire, SGA, as he gets ready for the Cavaliers this evening. They are 1.5-point favorites at home. 233.5 is the total.
I'm on the Thunder and the over, and I'm also, aware of those numbers because I sent them to you, and it's because I wanted to, just reinforce the fact that he's the MVP. Those numbers on a nightly basis in every game that he plays are staggering. I mean, he is absolutely lighting up the NBA. There is no one that can guard him, and he does it every night, and he's going to do it tonight, too.
Yeah, I think that what that also shows you, solidifies that he's the MVP, and it also tells you that, unlike a lot of these guys, he plays every night, the whole game, no matter what's going on. Obviously, right. if they're up 20-25 with 5 minutes left in the fourth, Danielle, gets everybody out of there. But there's no nights off for SGA or any of these guys on the Thunder, Scotty. They're playing every single night, going the entire way. All right, Clippers and Trailblazers in Portland tonight. Clippers minus 7.5, 220.5 the total.
Yeah, I don't care that they broke a record last night, the highest win total ever. They're way better than the Blazers. I don't care if it's in Rip City. Give me the Clippers at Moda, lay it.
And finally, another good game, second leg of that TV doubleheader. The Rockets are in Sacramento against the Kings this evening. Sacramento minus the 4.5 in this one. We do have I know Van Vliet's out for the Rockets tonight, and they're on a second leg of a back-to-back. So minus 4.5 for the Kings, 224.5 the total.
I'm going to take a shot with the hot Rockets. They've won 5 in a row. They're badass. They're young. They're not afraid to play back-to-back. I think the Kings have been playing pretty good ball lately. They're 500 now. They lost, finally, their last game. Now they're at home. I think it's too many points. I don't think you can give the Rockets 4.5 points. So I'm going to go Houston and the 4.5 in the Golden One in Sacktown.
There it is. A very abbreviated but fun night. Couple good TV games in the NBA that we are going to have. All right, I'm going to do the college rack when I come back. I do want to tell you, though, I haven't gotten a chance to update you on what's going on at La Quinta. And I've got a minute to actually do that right now, as we do have the Amex going on here. Now, Justin Lauer, 9 under right now. Of course, we had him, Scotty, last week for first-round leader in Hawaii. We don't have him this week as he's playing La Quinta. Matty Schmidt, 8 under. Joel Damon, 8 under after his first round. Your boy Bucket Hat Joel, who, of course, from Full Swing, everybody loves him, and he's actually playing some good golf this week. Mark Hubbard, we're involved with at 8 under. Let's see if he can get it going. So we do have Seth Straka's on our card. Straka's in the mix. So we have Willie Z finished at 6 under today. So some big numbers, especially from the guys who are on the Nicholas and the La Quinta courses. The guys on the Pete Dye, which is the tougher course that they all play on Sunday for the final round, those guys are having a little bit slower start, except for Nick Taylor, who won last week, and he's 6 under on the Pete Dye. So Taylor's playing well, and he has the 2 easier courses the next 2 days. So that should be interesting. And one other note from golf, which is I just came across the Genesis Tigers tournament at Riviera in mid-February, Scotty, will not be at Riviera with what's going on in Los Angeles. They haven't said where yet it will be, but they are not going to play in L.A. at Riviera in a few weeks.
And Fox has cut the deal with Live Golf.
Yes. Fox did cut the deal with Live Golf. So we're going to see lots of Live Golf on TV, on Fox TV.
The defending champion Kansas City Chiefs aim for an unprecedented third straight Super Bowl. But the Texans are ready to end the dynasty. Then the Commanders, fresh off their first playoff win since 2006, take on the high-powered offense of the Detroit Lions. Start your game day with pro football today at 10 a.m. for pregame betting. Then stay in the action with in-game live game day. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
This Sunday, the Rams carry the weight of their city when they face the Eagles. Then it's a clash of MVP caliber quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. SportsGrid has you covered all day, starting at 8 a.m. with FST for daily fantasy lineups. Lock in your picks with Pro Football Today. And stay dialed in with real-time betting on in-game live game day. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's hit the college rack scene from last night, Carver High.
Yes, I want to go over a few things with you from last night's games. Iowa State beat Kansas 74-57. I know the SEC gets a lot of gas, as they should. They've got like half their league or more than half their league in the top 25. Watch out for that Iowa State team come March. They are tough. And they're another team. They got to actually win, go to the Final Four to make it stick. But, man, they're a buzzsaw team to play against. They are not fun out there on the court.
Did you see them at the Hilton last night hitting like 40-foot bombs right before the half? I mean, everything was falling. It was a close game, and then it was a blowout before you could snap your fingers.
Not easy, that's for sure. Michigan State beat Penn State 90-85, 5-point win for them.
They didn't cover.
Tennessee... They did not. Tennessee and Georgia, I think the game was tied at 24 at the half, and Tennessee blitzed them in the second half and started playing their game, and they ended up winning by 18, so good win for the Vols. Houston won by 16 against West Virginia. Purdue got an 11-point win in Seattle against the Huskies. How about UNLV? You were wondering yesterday. UNLV at home. Best team in the conference maybe coming into their building. They got the win, 65-62. Great win for the Rebs.
No doubt. I didn't see that coming. I thought, a 16-1 Aggie team was legitimate, that they could go on the road. It just goes to show you that it doesn't matter what conference you're in college basketball in America. When you go on the road, you are in trouble. Like I told you the other night, Iowa would go to USC and lose. In the Big Ten, you go on the road, you lose. It's that simple. In the SEC, you go on the road, you lose. There's rare wins on the road. Again here, a 16-win team against a 9-win team, and they lose. I mean, it just shouldn't even happen, but it did.
It certainly did. And, of course, there were a bunch of other games you were in on last night, for sure. There was a few late-night games. Florida State beat Pitt by 12. Drake did beat Illinois State in that Missouri game. Cincinnati ended up bad loss for Colorado, losing to Cincinnati at home by 6.
They're in trouble.
Colorado needed them. They are in big trouble going forward. And Tulane won big. I think I remember you were on Tulane yesterday. I know they won by 15 against FAU. In that other one. So there you go. I wanted to give you the national title odds. We haven't looked at this in a while, really. Now that we're into January, we could start looking at things like the national title odds. Here we go for College Rack. Did you know Duke and Auburn are the favorites right now? Both at plus 550. Houston, Tennessee, Iowa State, Florida, Kansas, Kentucky, Illinois, UConn. On there at 22-1. UConn, of course, going for 3 in a row. They are not the same team this year.
That's not happening at all with Caravan as your only real star player. I think, all year long I've told you that Auburn's the best team in college basketball, and when Broome plays, that's legitimately correct. And I think that I've said from the jump that Duke will be in the Final Four and play for a national championship with Cooper Flagg, and more so than Flagg, is that their defense, John Shire's defense, is just locked down. I mean, the Blue Devils are playing Duke defense like Mike Krzyzewski taught Shire how to do it, and they have it all going. And the other teams in that mix that I would say have a shot right now, it would have to be Iowa State in that whole bunch. And the outsider for me, even though they lost to Missouri by 1, would be Florida. They're tough.
They are tough. There's a few teams I was thinking about that they don't even have on that list. Like, Alabama's. Yeah, Bama's underneath those teams too. Alabama's not on that board. Yeah, they've got Gonzaga a little bit further out. St. John's right now, I don't have St. John's on my board because they are, of course, New York, and I only have the New York odds in front of me. But they're going to be tough as well once you get Illinois 30. Yeah, there's a bunch of different numbers here for a few of these teams. Michigan State's at 40. They've played some pretty good ball as well. All right, I have a few games tonight in College Rack that we will get to. So we'll come back. I've got some Big Ten games for you tonight. I got Gonzaga on the West Coast. You can tell me if you've got any add-ons besides some of the heavy games that I give you as well. So we'll do that, and then we'll get into the hockey to start our number 3.
There's tons of games tonight in college basketball that I have action on. Literally tons of them. It never ends, particularly with the West Coast games late night. Are you kidding me? There's a ton of them. There's some great games tonight.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.